Thank you for watching the Rebel podcast today. I hope you enjoy it. Today's Rebel podcast is going to be very fun and very interesting. It's springtime, and let's face it, all the birds are out there building their nests. All of creation is trying to get a mate, and we're no different. The difference is, though, I think we worry a lot about it. Are we going to be accepted? Are we good enough? Are we pretty enough? Are we tall enough? Are we thin enough? Whatever. Whatever your beat yourself mode up is, I think we focus on that instead of what's at hand. And that's how can I be my best and be confident and build an image that another person might be attracted to. Now, little do we think that the other person is going through the same thing. We just feel like we're always in it alone and it's all about us not measuring up. At least that's what I do. Maybe you're different. Maybe you're so self-confident that you can walk in a room and your vibe just reverberates. But in case you're not, and in case you are looking for someone, either as a great friend, someone to spend time with and have fun with, or a possible mate, let's get to it. And today, talk with our three beauty experts, Diana, Jackie, and Kaylee, here in Omaha, Nebraska at Rebel Salon. They're going to give us some tips, suggestions, and they're going to tell us just how to fix this hair so it doesn't look like we don't care. I want to know how I can make myself look attractive, but not go crazy doing it. And not, I repeat, not getting a hairstyle that I can't keep up with. I don't know about you, but I've had those, oh my God, why did I do this? It's costing me $100 a month to try to keep this whatever going. So if you're in a rut, if you need a new do, if you need some suggestions, tune in today to the Rebel podcast and let's talk about being beautiful. What we're going to talk about is not just meant for women. It's meant for men and women. We have Diana, who is the salon owner of Rebel Salon here in Omaha, Nebraska. And we have two of her beauty experts here with us that are going to be talking about all of this stuff. We're going to talk about hairstyles and dating, how to look your best, how to walk in a room and be confident and have a vibe that people honestly cannot ignore. So I just want to introduce you now to three of Omaha's finest beauty professionals. I have Diana, I have Jackie, wave at us, Jackie, and I have Kaylee. And I just want to thank you so much for being on the Rebel podcast today with me, Deborah Danielson. And I can't wait to dig a little deeper into why beauty, especially hairstyling, is so important in building confidence and going out on a date, especially, since we've all been kind of pinned up for the last 3 years, pretty much. and you may be a little anxious about getting out there. So Diana, tell us about your salon and tell us what you bring to the table that they can't get somewhere else.
So Reveal has been around for a while, but I bought it about 4.5 years ago. And I have been in the field of mental health, helping people feel better my whole life. And there was just a hole on the physical beauty element of what I wanted to help bring to the world. I thought life is too short. We should look at beautiful things. We should feel beautiful. And mental health is a huge part of it, but it does start with a lot of exterior things that we can control and just bringing out the best in ourselves. So I dove in, I bought a salon that was local. I'm really lucky to have the staff, and you asked what makes us different.
Yeah,
I would say it's the collaboration of a small, mighty staff knows what they're doing.
And I love that you called it a collaboration, because really and truthfully, that's what it is. You know, I may walk into your salon and say, I want to look like Jennifer Aniston, give me that hairdo, right?
Mhm.
And you may have to say to me, you know, Deborah, because of the shape of your face, or because of, you know, the color of her hair and the color of your skin, that's just not going to look the ultimate. So you're going to be honest with people, correct?
Oh, yes, and that's, what the skill of the managers who have decades of experience together, and then whether it's them who know, the industry inside and out, or a newcomer who has a bright, fresh idea, that
Yeah.
they're bringing together and, making the look for the client that, they might not even know, exactly what they wanted, so they have to talk it out and hear what the professionals have to tell them about what would maybe look best on them.
I love that. And the other thing that I just want to share, a lot of people, including myself, have suffered from depression. And right now I'm doing fantastic. The sun's shining, you know, it's a great day. But you
Great.
know, sometimes people can get so depressed that they actually convince themselves that there's nothing they can do to look good. And nobody's really going to tell them if they look good or bad. So they just run around. They don't feel like washing their hair. And, you know, I had a friend one time didn't wash her hair for 2 weeks because she was so sad.
Mhm.
So I think just from meeting you and Jackie and Kaylee and talking to you, I really feel like every time I speak to you guys, I come out feeling better about myself and I feel happy. I feel like I'm going to go in the right direction. Is that fair to say?
Yes, and I love that because that is exactly what we want people, to look and feel better when they walk out the door. And it's so interconnected, your self-care, because if someone's dealing with depression, that self-care is starting to not be a priority. And
Yeah.
it's so great that it doesn't have to be a certain look. It's just, it's just a little bit of something that makes you feel better and brighter. I do think our results are a little bit more dramatic for the most part because it depends, but they trust us. They trust us, with a big haircut or a big color change. And then, some people change it a lot that come regular and other people's don't, they want to stick with it. But either way, within 5 or 6 weeks of every appointment, they just feel fresher and brighter and they just took care of themselves.
Yeah. But just real quick before you leave us, tell us just high level what kind of cool services you can offer at Rebel. And if I'm coming from out of town, can I make appointments and can I get scheduled?
Absolutely. And you can schedule online, but Reveal offers hair cuts and color. And we do consultation. They do conditioning of hair. Like if you just, need it conditioned, we do lash extensions, we do waxing, facial waxing, and we do massage hair. But we've really kind of kept it down to like 5, 6 core services that we do really, really well.
And it's really, for me, one of the number one things for me is a massage
Hmm.
because I have a real hard time relaxing. So I know that that'll be one of the very first things I want to try is a very good deep tissue massage.
Yeah, you got it. We'll set that up for you.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're going to cut over now. Jackie and Kaylee are the two managers for Reveal Spa and Salon here in Omaha, and they have some great words of wisdom. Between them, we have over 30 years experience in the industry. They have talent and skill to look at people, and they have been very well trained to look at people and look at face shapes, colorations, and they can make great recommendations for you. Now, I know we all watch TV, we all look at magazines, and we lock and load on who we think is beautiful. We lock and load on if they're doing like a product push, we want to try it. Well, I'm here to tell you, not every product is for every person. We are all individuals. And I think the number one thing I would ask you is when I'm going to go out on a date, can you tell me some tips for choosing the right hairstyle for a particular face shape or a hair type? Like, what do you look for if I'm walking in the door or a guy's walking in the door? You know, guys get really nervous too, right? So when they're walking in the door and you're kind of looking over the situation, tell me what you look for as you're hearing them say, and maybe one guy walks in, he goes, I got red hair and freckles, but I love Brad Pitt and I want to look like Brad Pitt. Can you give me a hairstyle and hair color like that? What would you say?
I would say, well, there's a couple things. So I would say from the start, if we were sitting here like getting ready for a date and we just want to look our best, present our best selves, and we only have a few tools at home, you don't have a hairstylist behind you. The best way to go about that is if you're a female to stay more in the oval shape. Like you want yourself to stay silhouetted in an oval, which means height to the top of our head, which means a little bit more narrow here, but accentuating the cheeks, uplifting the cheeks. It'll bring more youthful look. And that would be for female. Now, for males, they actually need to look macho, masculine, and that would be more of squared off. So what that would mean is you want some height on the top, but you don't want it to concave too much on these sides. You'd want it to be a little bit more squared up, a little more height on the sides also. That would help keep it more masculine, more macho for going out for a date, and kind of what you're looking for to look your best self to reveal. And we can talk about hair types and I would say depending on the type of year also, or the season of that's surrounding you is a big factor when it comes to looking your best. Sometimes in the curlier hair types, we get frizzy and we are really frizzy prone, especially when humidity starts coming. But what curls need is a lot of moisture. And so it's searching for it from the air, which is why we get frizzy. So adding moisture into our hair care for shampoo and conditioner, adding in moisture into our leave-in products can help you kind of build up your natural moisture so it's not searching for it from the air.
So that's really helpful. Now tell me, why would I want to come into a salon and pay more for shampoo or conditioner or maybe some styling gel or something than if I just go hit up Walmart?
So a big difference between your drugstore or your, Walmart products is we're Lonza-based salon. We use Lonza Healing Hair Care, which it works from the inside out to heal, not only to cleanse the hair and to have products that can help maintain a style, but it actually is working from the inside out to heal your hair, no matter what the
Reveal Salon and Spa is a top 100 Lonza salon for 2022.
problem is. If you have frizz, it's going to work to kind of heal that. It's going to have a lot of sunscreens to protect your color. The difference between your drugstore products and a professional product is the amount of concentration that you have and the products that are in it. Products that we use, the Lonza hair care, it is super concentrated, so you don't need as much. You go
Right.
to Walmart and you're needing this much shampoo and conditioner,
Yeah.
because it's been watered down or it's had a lot of products that are added to it, like waxes and silicones and all kinds of sulfates, all those things that you don't want in your shampoos. A lot of them have a high alcohol content, which is just going to continue to dry your hair out. Whereas the products that you purchase in the salon from a professional is made to work better for, and you don't have to use as much of it because it's so concentrated. So it can really stretch a lot further than that $7-8 of what have you, versus buying something in the salon from your stylist who knows your hair, who's working to make your hair the best that it can be.
Yep. And I think the other important thing that I've learned recently, because I had to go in for skin cancer surgery, is that what you put on your scalp and what you put on your face are so important because it really affects the health. Like it could affect dandruff, it could affect sores on the head, blisters, anything could happen if you have an allergic reaction to some chemical. Let's face it, you wouldn't run over to McDonald's and buy a hamburger if you knew it had silicone in it. So why would you slather that on your head next to your brain, right? Or on your skin, because what causes skin cancer, at least the type I had, was some kind of chemical poisoning. So you have to be so careful. And I have found, just like you have articulated, that if you go buy a better product, you're spending less money because you're buying less product. And I also discovered one of the mistakes I was making was I was washing my hair twice instead of just once. And the biggest change in my hair came when I went to just washing it one time and then putting on the conditioner. Can you talk a little bit about the proper way to wash your hair?
Absolutely. That everybody's hair type is pretty similar to like their skin type. If you're more of a skin oily type of person, you might be more oily in the scalp. And sometimes when we sit there and we over shampoo, it's telling your body that you're a dry person. So it's going to produce more oil in the long run. So it's really hard to get out of that habit sometimes, but I've really gotten some different generations to really work with me about, let's spread this out a little bit. Let's let our color last a little longer because we're not over shampooing it. Let's let our scalp get some natural oils to it, which is way better than anything you can buy at the market. Like, we all want our natural oil in there, and we need it as long as we can, because let's face it, the older you get, the less oil you produce. So I think if we sit there and we just keep scrubbing all the oil away, sometimes your body's like, well, what the heck, we're not producing enough. Now let's just producing more.
Right.
I would say that some hairstylists are probably the ones that push it the longest. I mean, we every stylist I know go 5 to 7 days if they can, unless they're a super oily person, then they push it to 2. 2 is a good sweet spot for pretty much everybody. 2 days between washes. So 1 time should be more than enough. If you need something a little bit more, then maybe we're using the wrong shampoo for you.
Yeah.
There is other options too, where you can use a pre-shampoo versus shampooing twice. Where it's a little bit of a conditioning type of pre-shampoo. It helps kind of break up all of the product and the extra gunk that we have on there that can build up over time, and add moisture to our scalp in that pre-shampoo, and then we shampoo everything after that. So that way we're not double drying our scalp.
And I'm going out on a date. What do you think is the most glamorous hairstyle? I'm going to ask this for a guy, and I'm going to ask it for a woman or a girl, right? So let's take the girl first. What's the most glamorous?
I think what's really in style as far as doing glam hair is everybody's really about curls and about these beach waves and, you know, lots of shine, lots of, you know, you want it to last. We have a lot of people wanting extensions right now. So hand-tied extensions are really big. We do halo services, which is a hair piece that you can add in. It's super easy. It's great on your hair. It's not stressing your hair out to get that. And you can just take it in and out as you need to. But I would say as far as glam goes, as far as glam goes, definitely curls is really in style. We have a lot of younger girls when they're getting ready. We have prom season is just ending right now. We have wedding season, you know, it's a lot of curls, a lot of loose sexiness, you know, nothing tight and pulled back and severe. It's all about that loose and that natural sex appeal is what a lot of people are gravitating towards right now.
There's nothing more attractive to me than an all natural look like that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've had hair extensions down past my butt. I have tried everything in the world from being on TV. And when it came time to get married, we pulled out all of the hair extensions and we put on a halo. And it allowed me to dance and move and not have to worry about how I looked or my hair getting out of shape or losing its, loveliness. And the halos, I think, are made to be bulletproof. So they are a really, really good option, and it's quick. And when your head itches and you have extensions in, it's a nightmare. But with the halo, you whip that baby off, throw it in the corner, and it's good until you want to go back to something else, right?
Absolutely.
Now, for a guy, what do I need? Like, do I need a special product to make my hair like stand up and be more out, like you were talking about, Kaylee?
Absolutely. I think a big thing with nails in general is just using product. Sometimes we all resort back to gel. And I don't think that it's quite needing to be gel specific.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a male and female product? Nothing. Like you can still use any type of product that's on the shelf because it's still made for your hair type, any length.
Yeah.
So I would say, curly and long, through the top is kind of the go-to for kind of the trends. But the long hair's still in. There's a lot of guys going longer in the sides and the back, not just more. I think that product in general for males, whether it is just some kind of lotion, it doesn't need to be very thick or very high fold. It could be something just for control of what your curls look like, control of the frizz, control of the wind blowing in the, there's nothing worse than seeing a greasy guy at the date. Say that it's important to put something in the hair if you're going.
Yeah. And here's what I think too. I think that's an excellent point. To me, every single product I ever lay my hand on is unisex.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to wear men's cologne. I know they call it men's cologne, but I will wear that sometimes, and I will wear the most expensive perfume. I don't care. It's about the smell. And I don't know necessarily any hair product has a certain smell that's different for male or female. I can't find that. But my husband has taught me the most about that because whatever works, he'll use it. He'll use it on his face. He'll use it on his hair. And who cares, right? And I think we need to get rid of those labels because I think they're really kind of old-fashioned, out of date. And they tend to make people feel uptight. So I would totally agree with you. So thank you. I really appreciate that you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think are the most common mistakes that just are, sort of scary? What are they?
I would say not having dry enough hair before you walk outside. Yeah. Just not finishing the job.
Yeah.
I would say a huge mistake that I find a lot of times with my clients is they just haven't gotten their hair dry enough before they put the hot tool on. Dry enough before they walk outside. If you have any moisture left into your hair and you step outside, that moisture kind of fluffs you back up. Or your curls may completely fall out because you had lasting moisture in your hair. Round brushing. I know a lot of people now have been buying the different types of tools like the Dyson Airwrap or a round brush blow dryer. I mean, there's multiple different types of things out there to help you do a blowout at home. It's one of my favorite looks. Is just a classic blow dried round brush look. And people try it at home, and the biggest problem that they're having with tangling in their hair is their hair is not dry enough before they put a round brush in their hair. Yeah, most important part about styling your hair is usually in the last 15 minutes. When your hair is soaking wet, it's not holding anything.
Yeah.
So I say, let's get majority of the moisture out. A good 70% of it should be gone before you're doing anything else. When it comes to round brushing or brushing your hair or putting any tools or anything, and it needs to be dried and finished.
Products
and
too.
then the products, yes.
Yeah.
Putting
It's
enough
a combo.
I would say another issue is a lot of people don't use enough. We're always so scared of it being oily or needing to wash it again. Curly hair and dry hair and men with putting a product in their hair. Sometimes you do need to put a little bit more. Stylist is a pea size. We always say, let's just put a pea size in or chocolate chip size of a product in. And I think that's just so we don't have user error. But you can always go back in for a couple more chocolate chips. And it'll make your hair last longer, and then you don't have to apply so much the next day when you wake up in the morning. So
now I want to talk about hair color. Because to me, when I walk out in the world, I'm seeing people with fuchsia hair. I'm seeing fabulous purples. I'm seeing emerald greens. Some people are drop dead knockout. I can't take my eyes off of them because they look amazing. And then they have a great style to go with it. But other people, you know, I don't think that they know about skin tone and color. And so people are staring at them, not because they were outstanding, but because it's just like, you know, discord going on. It's not harmonious looking. It's like, uh-oh, maybe we should try a different color. So could we talk a little bit about how you could determine a good color that would work on a person?
What their lifestyle is, more so than, I mean, yes, skin tone is important. You don't want something that's gonna, you know, drown you out and make you look, you know, sour or sick. But your color, especially if you're going to do those types of colors, those fashion colors, we really need to know if that's going to work for your lifestyle, if it's something you're able to keep up on financially, if something you're able to keep up on just coming in often enough, because those type of colors do need more, they have more maintenance needed to keep them looking their best. Because
so like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about every 3 weeks, every month? What are we talking about?
A lot of that depends on how often you're washing your hair and what you're using on your hair.
I see.
If you want to use a color safe shampoo, you want to use a conditioning before you wash to help really seal that color in. You want to make sure that you're doing, you know, if you're using a lot of heat on your hair, if you're washing it too many times in a week, all of those things, if you're out in the sun a lot, all of those things are going to pull that color that you're spending that money on to look great. And it looks amazing for the first 2 weeks. But if you're shampooing every day, it's not going to work for your lifestyle. So you need to spread that out a little more. Ideally, I have clients who come in every 4 to 6 weeks to have their bright fuchsia and purple and green and whatever color it is. You just want to make sure that it's going to work for your lifestyle. If you want to have a piece of color, you want to do something fun, let's figure out a way to put it in there so that it's going to be something that you can maintain and keep looking good for longer.
Yeah, we don't have, the worst thing for me is to have a root problem. Now, Kim Kardashian, and I don't know why she thinks it's beautiful, but it's the one thing she does. It just drives me wild. She has that white, I'm going to call it white hair with a black root.
Yeah.
And it's on purpose. It's not because she's broke or anything. But,
right.
But I just don't think for her, I don't like that look on her. But you know, to keep an even like root section up here and to keep it, especially when you like, maybe I'm blonde and I want to have black hair. Okay. It would just look hideous to me. I couldn't live with having to look at my root growing out an inch and a half every month. And the cost of that versus just going with a lighter color so I could get by maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, because the financial burden is quite a bit, right?
Right. And we want something again that's going to go with your lifestyle. If you're a mom or a college student or, you know, someone who doesn't have a lot of time to come in every 3-4 weeks to get that little bit covered up, you know, maybe we need to look into some more blending styles.
Right.
That gives you that lived in blonde look or lived in brunette look, you know, something that grows out nicely that you can get away with longer. I want to see you as often as you can come in, but we want to make sure that it's something that you feel good from the
Right.
time you leave until the time you got to come back and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do more. You can feel your best longer.
And that's important.
Oh yeah, I also think it comes into communication and back into the consultation part of it. A recent client of mine that I've done for about 7 years now, and just this last time, you know, we sat down. I sit down every time with my client, and I give them at least 5 minutes with every client of mine, talking about just hair. Say, you know, we of course want to talk about other things, but hey, like we're here for a reason, and we need to be productive. So what can we do today that is going to help you get to that next appointment? If we're feeling, in the last 2 weeks, we've been feeling kind of rough, how can I maybe adjust what we're doing today than what we normally do, just to give you that extra 2 weeks, versus being, okay, then we're just gonna have to do every 2 weeks. Maybe just when you're here, we'll just add another foil or two where you're graying out a little bit more. I mean, we've also have had people that like to do like the root sprays, and using the root product of spraying a little bit on there just to help give them that last week or two. But then it also comes back to, let's just have a consultation and reevaluate. Hey, I just can't come in every 3 weeks, can't come in every 4 weeks. Then let's figure out how we can adjust things to give you those extra couple weeks. So.
Right. So they show this guy, he's got kind of salt and pepper hair, and he's getting ready to go out on a date, and he has to look really good. Now, he was a very handsome man, and he whips out something akin to what we would use for like a mascara. And he's whipping out a wand, and it's in a, you know, a tube with liquid, and he's doing the roots. But then it went really weird. Then he started doing his eyebrows and his full beard.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And then the guy goes, and this lasts for 1 day, you know, it comes out. And all I could think of, now this is probably not good to admit this, what if they're in bed, and you know how your mascara gets messed up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, what if, you know, things are hot and heavy, right? And he looks down at his date, and his color has transferred to them.
Oh, no.
I mean, have you ever seen a product like that?
I've definitely seen the color mascaras for like touch up, root touch up, and things like that. And they definitely do transfer. And that's a really excellent point that could happen. And how embarrassing would that be?
Oh my gosh, I know. All I could think of was, oh my God, that poor man. You know, I don't know that you would have somebody on a date that would be like, oh, that's great. I don't care. It's all right. I just think it would be a disaster.
Be full on your date when she sees you the next couple times, unless you're going to do it daily. There's other
Yeah.
ways that.
And that's a really good point. I mean, I was on a dating website, and it was a Christian dating website, and this guy indicated to me all the photographs. It was, you know, really before the videos became the big deal, right? It's obviously before the pandemic. Anyway, so basically all the photos indicated this man had hair. And so I met him in Florida, and we agreed to meet in a hotel, in a lobby. It was a big hotel. There were lots of people around, so I wasn't stuck with anything weird, right? And so all of his staff was there waiting with me because the guy's plane got delayed, and then it started raining like crazy. He pulls up in the middle of a torrential rainstorm in a convertible with the top down and no hair.
Oh no.
And so I scream out, oh my God, he has no hair. And everybody's like, oh my God, he doesn't. So when he came out from the garage, he had to come up the elevator. And when he walked into the lobby, there was me and all the hotel staff. And they were like, their mouths were open. And I go, what happened to where's your hair? And then it was like, you know, and he was obviously embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not fair to do that to people because let's be honest, some people like hair. I mean, I'm eye candy driven. I'm going to be honest. And what do I look for? I look for things that I really like, right? But I'm not saying they're not people who like bald men because they can be very sexy too. But I just think you need to be honest about what color your hair is,
Yes.
who you are, right? And not, not pull a 180. And why would you put your top down when it's raining like crazy outside and it's 1 a.m. in the morning, right?
Makes me wonder if he lost his hairpiece in the rain.
Oh my gosh. But do you have any clients come in that have had date disasters that you tried to help them and they just kind of wouldn't listen to you, like their hair went totally flat or they tried the wrong product and they wouldn't listen to you?
I have a very great clientele, and I feel like they've been with me long enough. I've been doing hair for 20 years, and they listen. They really listen to me at this point.
Yeah.
Things that have happened in the past, I'm for sure I've had clients tell me disasters about, dates and things like that. But nowadays we have a good rapport with our clients, and they truly listen and know that I am looking out for their best interests. If I'm saying, hey girl, you need to buy some of this hairspray and make sure you give it a spray before you go to prom, they're gonna do it.
That's good. That's really good. I had one other date disaster, and it was, at the time I was doing highlights, and so that required bleach, and then we would put some, blonde, and we would mix it so it had really beautiful highlights. Well, I wasn't aware that your hair becomes dry and then it starts wicking. Okay. It literally wicks, like you were talking about moisture. Well, we got into a jacuzzi with a bunch of people, and they put chemicals in the water.
Mm.
And so the water was this beautiful blue color, almost blue green. So nobody told me the whole time we were sitting there talking, having some wine. Nobody mentioned in this little group, oh, Deborah, your hair is now blue. Nobody told me it actually turned out to be turquoise.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So the next day I go to my salon, and this was a long time ago, thank the Lord. But anyway, I said, you got to fix this. And they go, Deborah, we can't do anything because if we do anything, it's going to be more stress on the hair, right?
Yeah.
He said, you should have put on a bathing cap. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so old fashioned and crap. I'm not going to put on a bathing cap, He goes, well, you're going to have to learn to take better care of your hair. So what do you recommend for people? Like if they're going to go outside, sun, what do you recommend for covering up the hair, right? Male, female, whatever. And what do you recommend for going in a swimming pool, a jacuzzi, any kind of environment? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I actually was a diver in high school. So I was on the dive team, so I was in the pool constantly. And when I was in high school, white blonde was definitely the go-to, all over on the white. And we also didn't really do toners as much then. So it was just bleach, and more breakage. And then I would go into the pool. I back then had a wonderful hairstylist that was up on education, and now there is a product line that does have chlorine removers. It's a whole bunch of minerals. It's a lot of minerals and chemicals to help kind of remove it, but it's very, very soft. I don't feel any compromising to the hair itself when I do these chlorine treatments. And I used to use them every day for diving. After I got out of the pool, I would go and do a whole chlorine treatment. So you can purchase chlorine treatments, or you can do them, come into the salon and get them done, and then get your blonde retoned and rebrightened back up. And it's a lot easier now to take care of that. But being is that I've dealt with green hair before. I've dealt with the chlorine hair before as a preventative.
Yeah.
It goes back to product. I recommend getting your hair at the very least. The best way is to at least get your hair wet before getting into the pool. If you don't have a product to help you, that's the least you could do, is just getting your hair flooded with some fresh water before getting into the chlorine. So that way the chlorine's not the first thing to rush into the hair.
Yeah.
So at least it's diluted chlorine going in. But the best way to prevent getting green hair would be to first just don't even get it wet.
Exactly.
But if you do, then let's go ahead and spray it down with some kind of leave-in conditioning product. Added a whole bunch of conditioner. That way it helps kind of seal the outside of your hair down, which is called cuticle. And when that is sealed down, it helps prevent the chlorine from rushing into your hair also.
You know, if I have a convertible, right? And I love to have the top down. So what should I do? You know, if I'm a guy or a girl, right? What should I do to my hair so that it's not taking my color out, literally?
Yeah.
One of the easiest things you can do is to wear a hat. Another thing that you can do is make sure that you're using a color safe shampoo and conditioner and a color safe treatment. They're going to have sunscreens in them that's going to help protect your hair and your scalp. And it's going to make sure that you seal that cuticle down so that you're not, you know, the sun and the wind can wreak havoc on your hair. So making sure that you're using a product that's safe and that has those sunscreens and that has the technology that we have now that we didn't have when I was growing up. You know, hair products have come so far. It's not just gel and hairspray anymore, you know?
Right. And you know what? I would 100% believe that anybody who would come in and buy that would have a much better experience. Their hair, I would guess, within a month would definitely show a great improvement. I would just challenge people to come in your beautiful salon, check out all your services.
So we do lash extensions. We have a couple of really great girls who are really fantastic at doing lashes. We use really high-end products when it comes to those type of services. We do also do makeup services.
Here are a few examples of the beautiful lash extension services you can enjoy at RHEB3L. Now let's take a quick tour and have a look around.
Hi, welcome to RHEB3L Salon and Spa. Over here we have our lustrous line. I would say that this is probably our most recommended. Very luxurious line. It is recommended for all hair types, and it is also a healing line. We have our curly line, which is our newest line that was just added to Lonza. It has tons of moisture, humidity resistance. We also just started carrying the new line of Poppy and Pout. It is actually a lip tint and chapstick put together. I would say our two most popular are Daisy and Roxy, and our next popular is, of course, Vera.
Thank you guys so much for being on here. And tell us where you're located and what's coming up next that's exciting for the RHEB3L Salon.
So right now we're located off 156th and Maple.
Yeah.
We will be headed a little bit more central. We're headed over to Oakview Drive.
Okay.
Off of 144th. And we can't wait to show you guys our new home.
And that's a great location over there. So much traffic and so many other businesses that I think will complement what you're doing. So, well, you guys are just incredible. I love the energy. And here's what's important. I love the honesty and I love that you're so professional.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for making the world a more beautiful place and helping people to feel more confident. That is so important.
I agree. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.